So let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2 by Naughty Dog. Now, I'm sure you've heard it's already been 5-6 years since the game has released, and you've heard thousands of different opinions from different people on the internet, and you've already made up your own opinion about the game. You either love it, you either hate it, or you either think it's good in some places, bad in some places. But I want to talk about what this game did wrong and what this game succeeds in doing right exactly, and how this game is not what it's supposed to be, or not what it could have been. All right, I'm gonna answer that question, and I will give you a little proof as to why this game could have been a lot better. It's an actual proof. So, talking about the game, obviously the first thing about this game was the leaks that came out, right? The leaks came out, followed by a tsunami of negative comments towards the company, Naughty Dog, and everyone was suffering, right? This game got so much hate, and everybody knew about the hate it was getting. Like, everyone on the internet knew that people were really hating on the company and the game together, even before the game came out. So when the game did release, I could see streamers everywhere trying to do their best to not hate on the game as much as the internet already did. They were being really, really conservative with their comments. They were even like, they were even saying that, okay, fine, the story is all right, just jumble and reorder it. That would have made it better, right? When they know that the entire game is very much out of proportion, it has nothing to do with the first game, it's complete BS, right? People are going easy on the game because they knew the hate it was getting, and I do get that, right? But this game was just so badly made that the hate it was not deserved, but there was nothing you could do about it. It was coming to them, and they knew it the second they decided to make a story like this. They knew what was coming. All right. So when I played this game a few years after it came out, because I waited for it to be cheap, and I don't buy games on its full price. I want a good discount before I buy a game, like most of us do in outside of America. I actually enjoyed the game. Like, I already knew the leaks, I knew what was gonna happen, I've seen reviews, so my mind was already mixed with a lot of opinions in my head, and I just threw them all out of the window and just experienced the game for what it was, and I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the game. I think it was sort of raining for a couple of weeks in my place during the time I was playing it, so it just made the immersion even more great, because the setting of Last of Us 2. The entire game is in this moody atmosphere with rains and just dark weather. There's very little sunshine, except for Abby's part. Her part is filled with sunshine and rainbows, but let's not talk about that. My overall experience was, it was a good game. I loved the zombies, I loved the scary moments, I loved the fights, I loved the mechanics. I mean, come on, it just works. The first game worked, the second game they just amped it up a little bit more. Gameplay was amazing. I did not care for the story like I did in the first game. I did not want to know what happened in every cutscene, because it didn't matter to me, right? So I enjoyed the game, even after I knew everything that was gonna happen. Now, before you say Naughty Dog does not know how to make a story, this game is bleak. That's what they were going for. The way they kill Joel is bad, but it's reality, and reality is often disappointing, right? People wanted a heroic death for Joel, a more greater death, but that's not what reality is. Reality, you could be the greatest hero, save everyone, but your death will still be as boring and useless as anybody out there. And that's what the company was going for, realism, and I respect them for doing that. All right, Joel dying just like that with a golf club was realistic, no matter what you say. Like, sure, he might have forgotten to use an alias instead of his real name, but sometimes we all do forget. And what if that was that one moment where it was a whole zombie thing that they were running away from, and at the heat of the moment he might have told his name, and that's how he gets caught. And it's real, okay? They wanted to go bleak, they wanted to go brutal, and make the fans traumatized by seeing the way Joel dies. And it worked. It worked to a point where people were completely mad at him, mad at the company, right? And I get it. And you might say the writing is bad in this game. Well, it is, but did you see those flashbacks with Joel and Ellie? And even the final cutscene where Joel says, if the Lord gave him a second chance, he would do it all over again. I feel like lines like this you cannot find in other games. These are powerful lines that have been written, and you feel it when you watch these cutscenes. And these cutscenes kind of save the game. It still makes you feel like Naughty Dog has that power to do something great, but they sometimes, they slack a little bit. They go off-road and they drift apart from what they were supposed to do. And that's what this game really is. It was supposed to be something great, but they tried to take too much of different turns to make it something greater. Instead, they just took the wrong direction of the game. And I did watch the Grounded interview of the behind the scenes of the entire game being made, and that made me appreciate the game a lot more, obviously, because it takes so much blood, sweat, and tears to make a AAA, high graphic, beautiful game like this. So it's insane the amount of work that they need to do and the pressure that they have in doing such a thing. It's not easy work. But a certain clip a small section of the clip that took me off guard was when Neil Druckmann, I don't know which part of the video is this, but he calls Troy Baker, the voice actor of Joel, and after the leaks and everything, and when the game is released, he calls him to apologize. I'm sorry that the game, it was, hated by people. And Troy sort of says, no, everyone loves it, referring to the IGN 10 out of 10 reviews and all that. But this is where what caught me off guard. Neil Druckmann directed this game. It's his piece of art, his story. And if he's apologizing to someone because people didn't like the story, that just proves that he is not confident with the story that he told. You could tell that he has a little bit of just, well, what do you want to say? He has a little bit of just, unsatisfaction from the story that he made. Because if you create something and you're really proud of it, you would never apologize, no matter how many people hate it. Story. Like, sure, they can make you think in a different way. Like, if 10 people tell your story or something you make is bad, it might change your opinion. But if you strongly believe in what you've made, the way Neil Druckmann was saying to people that play the full game to experience the true story, if you truly believe that, you wouldn't apologize to anyone about it. Say, I'll give you an example like Hideo Kojima. He's made Death Stranding, and he's got his fair share of hate for the game. Like, it's not as bad as Last of Us, but he did get hate for the game, and he never apologized to people. He was strong and confident in what he was making, which is Death Stranding, and I respect something like that. And what Neil Druckmann did, apologizing and sort of having this negative thoughts in his head and rethinking like whether what he did was right or wrong, that doubt itself sort of clarifies that he wasn't confident with what he was making. And I really felt bad when I heard something like that. You should always be confident in what you make. And the second you're not, it's basically you yourself are answering that you ruined a story. If you make something you love and you believe in it, you will never think twice about it. Right? You will never go twice. And you guys had like 7 years to make the story. So there were multiple times that you changed the script, I'm sure. And if this is what you come up with and you still doubt yourself after the game is released, then it's just one thing. The game story was not satisfactory, even to you. Now, part 3, you might learn your lessons and do something that's better. Like, you cannot make this worse than part 2 is. Like, I'm sure part 3 will be good. And I'm hoping that it's good. But this is what I felt about part 2. So, yeah. Thank you for watching.